Hi, creative friends. This is Freya, and thank you so much for being here. So I allowed this to completely dry, and I am just so loving the luscious quality that the dark ink and my chalk paint in Payne's Gray. It's called ink actually, but I also used ink and my Prussian blue. I am just loving the just deep, rich, dark quality of it. And a lot of times when I talk about juice, I don't specify, but what I mean, and this is for me personally, this is the way I look at things. Just to give you an idea, I'm not trying to be vague when I say, oh, I'm going after the juice or juicy, juicy, juicy or whatever. But for me, what it means are things that excite me, things that pull me in, things that make me curious. And it could be anything. It could be a line. It could be just the contrast of values, because that's something that I like. Now, somebody else might like a lot of middle values. And so that might be their juice. That might be things that just make them just fall head over heels in love with, their color palette. And I know when I went to visit Cézanne's studio in Aix-de-Provence in the south of France, I was mesmerized, I tell you, mesmerized by his walls. And he meticulously obsessed over the color of his walls. He wanted them to be the absolute perfect neutral gray. And he reportedly worked on it for years, I tell you, to get that absolutely perfectly neutral gray. And I am telling you that I could have sat there forever and a day just looking at his walls. I almost burst into tears. It was so absolutely beautiful. Words cannot give it apt description. And basically, he wanted to have perfectly neutral walls so that when he was painting, he could see colors clearly and not be influenced by the walls. But the walls itself are so lusciously beautiful. Anyways, you guys, I got sidetracked there for a second. My point is, whatever the juice is, go for that. And I'm just going to tell you that Cézanne's walls of his studio are the juice. As much as I love like the lush, bright colors and the contrasting values for the drama, I mean, his neutral gray walls they were something to behold. Like, I will carry that with me forever. It was a privilege to just take it in, to stand in front of his walls and just, I mean, you guys, I just can't even. But that is the juice. That is what I am going for. I'm going for anything. And of course, like I said, I'm glad I got off track with Cézanne because, normally neutral gray walls, okay, that's not my juice. That is just not something that is going to pull me in. It's not something that's going to excite me, make me curious. I wouldn't describe that as the juice. But then you have a master like Cézanne, and he just creates this just, ugh, just deliciously luscious neutral gray walls. And that is the juice. That is so juicy, 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 juicy. So what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, sure, I know that I love the drama of the high value contrast. I know that I love this curve over here. I know that I love bright colors. I know, I like this blue stabilo. Those are like little guideposts, that are kind of pointing me towards the, excuse me, direction of the juice. But then sometimes something just comes out completely out of left field, and I'm not even anticipating it. And I'm like, oh my God, Cézanne's neutral gray walls are just the juiciest thing ever. So be open to be surprised. Sure, have your guideposts about what you love, what is juicy for you, but then be open to just whatever makes its way in, because you just never know. Anyways, you guys, I'm sorry, I got so off track, okay? But I think this is important because juicy is it's aliveness. And when I look back on my older work, one of the things that I am most aware of, I guess. I used to be really embarrassed and kind of reticent to show my earlier works. But now I am most aware of the fact that it was too stilted. There wasn't enough energy, life force, just the juice. So for whatever reason, it was too stilted. And I personally think it's because I was just too concerned about, what other people were going to think, type of thing. Like I was more externally focused rather than the way I feel. What is that feeling? So anyways, you guys, I'm sorry for this big song and dance, but I think these things are important to talk about, because if I just say, well, follow the juice, well, okay, what exactly does that mean? And how do you follow the juice? And, what do you do with the juice once you have it? That kind of thing. So anyways, okay, I'm just gonna dive right in here. So what I decided to do is I am going to add some collage to the mix here. And I think that even though I do love, 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 like all this dark here, I need to bring in a little bit of the light because I do like that kind of contrast. And, plus I am gonna like make the whites of our eyes and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if I want to put collage in there, but I am going to just kind of like, lay down some collage here. Ooh, I don't know. I want to keep that pink there. I want to keep a little bit of that pink. And a lot of times, you guys, like this is for me, when I'm working on these, 100-day mixed media portraits, a lot of times this is like a push-pull. And what I mean by that is like I'm pushing things back into the background, and there are ways to do that. Like you can push things back with your values, with your colors. Cooler colors, neutral colors, they tend to fade into the background, whereas lighter values and brighter colors tend to kind of like pull that forward. And a lot of times it's like push pull, push pull, push pull. And yeah, it's just a constant process of, oh, this needs to go back in space and this needs to come forward, and so on and so forth. So see, already it's got so much like interest now than it did before. Like before it was just, and what happened, you guys, is when I started my 100-day project, I was gonna, like I said, okay, I'm doing mixed media portraits, and I set the intention for me to kind of use more neutral colors, because I wanted to like just kind of deepen my knowledge and use of values rather than color. It's very easy for me to like, reach for the bright colors. That's like an easy thing for me to do. But to really focus on values, that is a little bit more difficult. And I feel that with my 100-day project thus far, and I don't know how many portraits I have. I'll probably do a flip through of all of them when I am done, maybe, whenever that might be. But one of the things is that by me doing my 100-day project, even though, I'm like, oh, they're all kind of looking the same, it's kind of getting boring. That's why I'm kind of like pushing things with this one. I have learned so much about values, and it really has strengthened my knowledge of values and my practical application of it as well. So I am so grateful that, I set that intention, because values, like knowing your values, you guys, is super, super important. Like it's really, I think it's the most important aspect of color for me, and not just for me, actually. A lot of artists do say that that value is just, it's so important. And for one thing, value is going to completely change a color. Like if you have a really light value of Prussian blue, it's going to look very different than a very dark value of Prussian blue. So it's actually going to change your whole, you know, the color itself. So yeah, I would say that value is the most important thing. And so basically, you guys, what I'm doing is I'm kind of like sculpting the face now. I'm like all the parts of the face that would protrude, I'm kind of using my light collage. And I did cover up some of that gorgeous black ink, but it's okay. I can always put some more in. Okay. And I think it's the ink I used, you guys, but it didn't, like, it doesn't dry. I don't know if it dries completely. I think it's this coffee ink here that I used, but instead of like keeping the collage like a lighter color, it's kind of staining it a little bit, which I'm not like super concerned about that right now, honestly. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of my cashew just to kind of give it a little bit of oomph here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of like adding my lighter values here. And this is like where I, you know, the juxtaposition of the dark values and the light values. Like, I really like that. So this is kind of like I'm kind of like approaching it like in a sculptural way, I guess. I'm looking at the face like as a sculpture. And that might seem like, okay, so if you look at the face as a sculpture, it does make it like very harsh. The planes of the face become really harsh, but it's a great learning tool. So you can learn how to see and render the facial planes. And then later on, you know, you can always soften the harshness if you want to. But it's just a great way to learn the planes of the face. So I hope I'm making sense. And by planes of the face, you guys, what I'm talking about, and it's not just the face, it's anything. If you're painting an apple, if you're doing whatever, it doesn't matter. Everything can be put, you know, boiled down into very simple shapes, and actually three-dimensional shapes. So like a face, you can use an apple, you know, it's round. And so basically it's like the part of the face that comes forward, that protrudes. So say the forehead, you know, this would protrude, this part of the forehead would protrude, whereas these parts over here towards the side where it curves, that's gonna go back in space. This part over here under the eye, that is going to come forward, whereas the inner corners of the eye, that's going to go backward. So that's all I mean by the planes of the face. And it helps to kind of look at it as a sculpture. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop some of this ink here. And oh, I love this, you guys, just the juiciness of it. Oh my goodness. And I like that word juicy, you guys. I just feel like it's all encompassing. Just, you know, it's just, and it's so inviting. And it makes me like curious and it just inspires me. Ooh, like look at that, you guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go like that. And it is really sunny outside today, so I think I might go and put this out in the sun to dry. And I just want to put a little bit of this darkness still. Now already, you guys, can you see like how much juicier it is than it was when I started off? Like, it just has a kind of a different quality to it. And, you know, so there are different things that I use. The first one being the really dark ink contrasted with light. Like, it's that juxtaposition that I love and makes it juicy to me. The second thing is collage. Ooh, I love collage, you guys. It just really gives such a different dimension to things. And there are so many different ways to add juice to your art, and that depends on your visual language. Now, another thing I'm going to do is I am going to just drop a little bit, just a very little bit of this red ink here, because I feel like she needs a little bit of kind of like boldness to her, see? Ooh, I love that. Just, she needs a little bit of sass here. Sass and pizzazz. And just gonna drop that over here. And I'm going to leave this outside to dry, you guys, and I will come back and work on it some more. So anyways, you guys, if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.